morning to all. We were discussing on the topic that is decision making tools, and we were explaining about the non-parametric test. So as discussed in the earlier previous video, that is we have two types of test. One is parametric and non-parametric test. So for the understanding of the parametric test, we have come across few examples, and we have also explained about the what is mean, what is average, and how the ranks are calculated. And to calculate ranks, we call it as a non-parametric test, and we have had so many discussions on that. So if we do not have a parametric test, and what is the alternative solution? In that case, we have a non-parametric solution as an alternate basis. So non-parametric test makes no assumptions about the population. So it does not check about the population distribution. It provides robust, trustworthy analysis when the data is skewed. So which means skewed means when the data is not normally distributed. Even the scales are ordinal or sample sizes are too small for the central limit theorem to apply. So based on the central limit theorem, we will have certain consideration, and it will calculate the rank for the same. Okay, now we will understand what is the sign test. So like in non-parametric test, we have one of the test name, it is called sign test. So we know what is sign. So like symbols or some demonstrative indicators, it normally denoted as a sign. So the sign test is a distribution-free statistical method used to test the hypothesis about a population median or to compare the paired observations. We know what is median. If we take central tendency, we have mean, median, and mode. So mean, we call it as an average. Median, it is the middle observation, and mode, it is the number of repetitions of the same observations. So either it will take the population median. So our whole population, say for example, if you have 1,000 number of data or samples, so in that the 500 is the median. So it will consider the median value to compare the paired observations. So from our understanding, it is clear that sign test is the comparison test. So it is the paired test. Say for example, if you have two data in a classroom of two data, that is 60 students in a class. So we are taking a feedback, we are getting a feedback from the students that whether they have understand the concepts which is taught in the class. So after a week, again we are giving the same question and asking the same set of students whether they have understood the so and so concepts. So this is the test which is considered before and after taking a test, and we are estimating the same set of population, same sample size, and same set of questions. But the only thing is we are taking the before and after. So we are giving some time period whether the certain concepts has been understood by the students or not. So this type of test will be carried out when conducting the soft skill test, or any like FTP programs, or any like any understanding of the classes or mentoring sessions, or like providing any training sessions in an organization for a clear understanding whether the employees or students have understand so and so concepts. So here this test is basically a direction based test used only for the sign of differences. We will denote it as either plus or minus. So here also we have the intuitive, that is whether it is a simple, logic, or powerful in a constrained data scenarios. So this test is distribution free, that is no normality test has been conducted. So sign test mechanism, what are they? Here we have the three steps that transform the data into the statistical, before taking into a statistical decision. What are the steps it is actually falling in? First we will compute the differences. So we will test the difference, that is whether there exists any difference between the before taking a training session and after taking a training session. Next we will assign the signs. Signs in the sense whether it is a positive sign or negative sign, whether there is a positive difference or negative difference. If there is no difference, we call it as negativity. If there is a difference, yes, the students are giving a positive feedback and they have understood the so and so concepts, we go ahead with the positive sign. And next we have the binomial test. So this is the one of the form of test to test whether there is exist a difference or not. So under the null hypothesis, positive and negatives are equally like a 50-50 split. Any significant deviation from the balance suggests a real effect. So 50-50 means that there is no difference. So hypothesis, what we call it as, it is an assumption. Before taking a test, we are framing an hypothesis that there exists no difference before and after taking a training. But after the attending the training, if there is a difference, it should be above the level, that is above the 50, which means we call it as a difference. So that's all about today's session. We will carry out the next class on the next video. Thank you.